Hello again everyone, and welcome to our next maths lesson, which is multiplying 3-digit numbers by 1-digit numbers. Once again, the words of the day are times tables because they are so important for when you are multiplying, obviously. And our warm-up activity for the day is to calculate the answer to these two questions. So this is kind of a see what you can do to start with 3 digits instead of 2. So if you pause the video and get yourself a bit of paper and try and work out the answer to these questions, and then we'll go through them when you come back. Okay, so we're just going to look at those questions. So 839 times 7 and 254 times 6. So let's go to the next page. I'm going to show you the answer and then I'm going to show you the method. So the answer to number 1 is 5,873. So I'm going to set this up over here. So I've got 839 times 7. Set up my short multiplication grid. So we know that we start with our ones column. So I'm just going to put my place value columns up the top because they're really helpful for when we're setting out our questions. So the first question is 7 times 9. So we know our 7s and we know our 9s. You can use the trick for the 9s if you want the finger trick. So if you have your 10 digits out in front of you, and you put down your 7th finger, you'll see that you've got 6 10s and 3 1s. 9 times 7 is 63. So I'm going to put my 3 there and my 6 10s from my 60 underneath. So we've done the 1s column. I can't put my 6 straight up because we haven't done the 10s column. So the next question is 3 10s times 7. So we can do 3 times 7, which is 21. So I've got 21 10s, or 210. So I've got 210 plus 60, which is 270. So I've got my 7 10s in there from my 270, and I put my 2 hundreds underneath the hundreds column because I haven't finished with them yet. Then I've got my 7 times 800s, or 7 times 800. I know that 7 times 8 is 56. So 56 hundreds, or 5,600. 5,600 add 200 is 5,800. So that's how you get that answer. Let's look at the next question. The next question is 254 times 6. The answer is 1,524. I'm going to do this one over here. So I've got 254 times 6. I'm going to put my place value column headings up here just because I find it really helps when I'm trying to do my questions. Set up my answer box. So we always start on the right hand side. We do our ones column first. We've got 6 times 4. We know that 6 times 4, or 4 times 6 is 24. So we put 4 in our ones. We put our 2 underneath our tens column to represent 20. Then we have to do our tens. So 6 times 5 10s. I know my 5 times tables really well, so I'm going to do them. 5 10s times 6 is 30 10s, or 300. 300 plus 20 is 320. I'm going to put my 300s underneath because I haven't finished with my hundreds column yet. So I've got my 6 times 200s, or 200 times 6. I think I prefer 2 times 6, which is 12. 1200s. Add 300s is 1500s, or 1,500. So that's how I get those answers. If you want to put a comma in, you remember you start the furthest right where your decimal point would be. You count 3 in, and then you put your comma. So 1, 2, 3, and then you put your comma. If there were more digits, you count 3 further along and put another comma. So if we ignore this question and we rub it out so it doesn't get a bit confusing. If we rub this out and we show the commas again. So if I add a couple of digits here, tell yourself what that number is. So we have 9,175,873. So I've counted 3 in for that comma. 1, 2, 3, I've got my comma there. It really helps us when we're reading out. So this tells us the millions, we've only got 9 million. This tells us the thousands, we've got 175,000. And these 3 digits we read out as we normally would, 873. So that's how the commas work. If you were wondering about that, so let me just get rid of these and move on to our countdown questions. So I'm going to give you a target number. I'm going to give you 6 numbers to try and reach that target number, remembering that you can only use those numbers once. You can add, you can subtract, you can multiply, or you can divide to get there, but you must only use those numbers once. And like last time, it is definitely possible to get the exact answer, and there are numerous methods. So after you've had a go, I will show you the method that I used, but remember there are other methods as well. So your numbers that you may use once are 100, 5, 9, 2, 8, and 1, and your target is 769. So just pause the video and see if you can reach that target or how close you can get. Okay, so hopefully you reached that target or got really close. I'm just going to show you the method that I used to reach that target. So if you do 100 minus 5, you get 95. Then if you times your 95 by 8, you get 760. And then all you have to do is add 9 to that, and you get your target number of 769. So you don't have to use all of the numbers if you don't want to. So you'll notice there I used 100, 5, 8, and 9. So I didn't use 2 and 1. So those numbers, I didn't have to use them all. I only used 4 of them, which is absolutely fine. Okay, so this is our recap questions. So 4 questions on the screen. Pause the video, see if you can work them out. Okay, let's go through these. So we have 2 times 2. First of all, you know that is 4. These are quick questions. So 2 times 40, or 4 times 10 times 2, or 2 times 10 times 4. 40 times 2 is 80. Here we have 2 times 300, or 2 times 3 times 100. 2 times 3 is 6, times 100 is 600. 342 times 2. We don't have to do any exchanging there. 2 times 2 in the ones column is 4. 2 times 40 in the tens column is 80. 2 times 300 in the hundreds column is 600. So you get 684. Hopefully you got all of those questions correct. So we are going to carry on with our multiplication skills today, and we're going to move on to multiplying 3 digits by 1 digit. So our question, see if you can work out the question. Actually, what is our question here? I know I popped something up, but see if you can work out the question. So it's 243 4 times, which is the same as saying 243 times 4, because we've got 243 and we've got it 4 times in total. So we're going to do our exchanging here. So we've got 10 ones in that little box and 2. So we've got 12 ones altogether, and you know the maximum digit you can have is 9. So once you're above that 9, you need to exchange some to the next column. So I'm going to exchange my 10 ones for 1 10. If you count the tens, you will notice that you have 17 tens, and the maximum digit you can have is 9. So one lot of 10 tens needs to move over and exchange for the hundreds. So we can take 10 of those tens and move them over to the hundreds. So now we have 2 ones, 7 tens, 9 hundreds, which gives us 972. So that's using the manipulatives method, which we've used before. Now we're going to look at 3 times 150. So how would you set that up? So we've got 150 3 times. So we've got 100 in the hundreds column, 5 tens in the tens column. And I wonder why we've got nothing in there. Because we don't have any ones, so we do not need to put anything in there. If we were using digits, we put zeros, but we're using place value counters here, so we don't have to represent anything in there. We can just see that we've got nothing. So 3 times 150, see if you can work that out. So you'll notice, once again, we've got more than 10 tens, sorry, more than 9 tens. We have 15 tens in there, and once it's above 9, you have to start exchanging. So we've got 15, so we need to exchange 10 of our 10s for 100. So we've got 4 hundreds, 5 10s, 0 1s, so the answer is 450. So once again, you can pause the video now if you want to have a go at questions 1 and 2 on the worksheet and then come back, or you can just carry on listening to the video in its entirety before you get on with your questions. That is entirely up to you. So we're going to look at this question, 103 times 4, and we're going to look at it with our short multiplication method. What I'm going to do here is I am going to, no, I won't do this one actually, I'm going to do it correctly with this one. So we've got this question, and we're going to look at our ones column first. So we have 3 times 4. So this is once again just showing you it with the place value counters. So you can see the method in 2 different ways. So we have to do, and we also got our partition top number there. So it just shows you've got 1 100, 0 10s, and 3 1s. So we need to do 3 times 4 first, which we know is 12. We can see from that box 10 1s. I'll just go back. We're going to exchange for 1 10, and we're going to get 12 for 3 times 4, which is the same as putting a 2 in our ones column and a 1 underneath the 10s. So we're working out here and we're working it out here. Then we need to move on to our 10s, which is 4 times nothing. We know that nothing times anything is nothing. So nothing at 1 is 1. The last thing we have to do is 4 lots of 100, which is 400. So we can either count those ones, or we can do 4 times 100, which is 400. So it goes in there, 412. Okay, so now we have 246 times 4. So just pause the video and have a go at that question and see how you do. Okay, so let's have a look at that. So 246 times 4. Okay, so I'm going to show you my method, and as I'm doing it, I want you to see how you think I'm doing, and then we'll go through it again. So we've got 246 times 4. So I'm going to start over here because I like starting on the left. So we're going to do 200 times 4. So 200 times 4. 2 times 4 is 8. So that's 800. So I'm going to put my 8 in there. I've got 800. Then I'm going to go to 1 to the right, and I've got 4 10s times 4. So 4 times 4, now that's 16. So I'm going to put that there. I have to put that there because I've already filled that box. And then I've got my 1s, so I've gone I've gone from my 100s to my 10s to my 1s. And now I'm going to do my 1s. So I've got 6 times 4. 6 times 4 is 24. So put that in there. And I would put that there, but that's already full. So I think the answer is 81,624. Okay, so what do you think about my approach to that question? Hopefully you noticed that I did that very wrong. So I'm going to erase all of that. When you do multiplication, when you do any of these column method questions, you always start with your 1s. You don't start on the left, the furthest left, because you'll encounter the problems that I did. You'll end up with place value columns with more than digits, with digits that add up to more than 9, which doesn't work. So what we're going to do is always start on the right. So 6 times 4 is 24. So I'm going to put my 4 there and bring my 20 across. Then I've got 4 times 4 10s, which is 16 10s, which is the same as 160, plus 2 10s, 18 10s, which is the same as 180. Carry my 100 over, exchange it even. Then I've got 4 lots of 200. 200s times 4, which is 800, plus 100 is 900. So the answer should be 891, not the 80,000 odd that I had originally. Okay, let me get rid of that. Let's quickly. 984. Okay, next question is 7 times 153. So let's run through this. 7 times 153. I've laid it out in my place value columns in my column method. So I need to start with my ones. So I'm going to do 7 times 3. Okay, we're just going to show it. This is partitions, just to show you how to set it up again. So you've got your 100, you've got your 50, and your 3. You've partitioned that into your different place value columns. So yes, 3 times 7 is 21. So I've got my 1, 1 and my 2 10s. I cannot put that up there yet because I haven't finished with that. That can go straight in because we've done the ones column. What's the next thing we do? 7 times 5 10s. We know that 7 times 5 is 35. So we've got 35 10s or 350 plus 20. So 350 plus 20, which is 370, or 35 10s plus 2 10s, which is 37 10s. You put that in. 7 in the tens column, 3 in the hundreds column. We put that underneath once again because we haven't finished with the hundreds column. So we need to do 100 times 7. So they get 7 hundreds plus 3 hundreds, which is 10 hundreds or 1,000. So the 0 goes in the hundreds and the 1 goes straight into the thousands. And the answer is 1,071. Okay, this is another point where you can decide to pause the video and do some more questions on your worksheet, or continue watching the video and do all of your questions at the end. That's your decision. Moving on, so we now have 147 times 6. So you could pause the video now and have a go yourself, or you could watch me go through how to do it. Okay, so what we're saying here, if we have 147 times 6, we've got this statement. The answer will have 2 ones. We've also got this question, which is 383 times 6. And the statement is the answer will have 6 ones. Can you figure out how we know that? Without working out the whole question, how would we know that? So pause the video if you need to, or just carry on if you've figured it out already. So to work out what's in the ones column, all you need to do is times your ones columns. What you times your tens columns and your hundreds by is not going to affect the ones columns. So we need to do 3 times 2 for that question, which is 6. So yeah, that's going to be 6 in the ones column, so that's a tick. And then one above it, you need to do 7 times 6, which is 42. So that's right, we've got 2 in the ones column. You'll see if my slide's going to move on. Okay, I just want to come back and go over these questions quickly. So we've got 147 times 6. We've already worked out the ones, which is 42. So let me put that straight in. So we've got 4 in the tens, 2 in the ones. Can't put it in the tens yet because we haven't finished with the tens. So now we have 6 times 4 tens, which is 24 tens, plus 4 tens, which is 28 tens. 200s go under there. So we don't put the 2 in the hundreds yet because we haven't finished with the hundreds. And then we have 6 lots of 100, which is 600, plus 200 is 882. So well done if you've got that. We're going to look at this one, 383 times 2. We've already worked out the ones, which is 3 times 2 is 6. Then we do 8 times 2, or 2 times 8 tens. So we get 16 tens. So we've got 6 tens in there. And the 10 tens is going to come across because that's worth 100. Forgot to put my placed value column labels up there, so I'm just going to do that. Now I've got 2 lots of 300. 3 times 2 is 6, so 600 plus 100 is 700. The answer is 766. Well done if you got that. Okay, let me go over all of this and go on to our last question. I believe it's our last question, there might be one more. 215 times 3 and 7 times 153. So all you have to do with these is work out how many ones you will have. You can work out the full answer if you want to, but what I'm asking you to do is to work out how many ones they'll have. So what are you going to have to work out, or how are you going to calculate that? So pause the video and figure out the answers to those, and then start it again to check. So to work out how many ones the first question is going to have, you are going to have to times your ones. You know that 5 times 3 is 15, so you can have 5 in the ones column. The next one is going to be 1, 1, you have to times your ones. You know that 3 times 7 is 21, so you can have 1 in your ones column. So well done if you figured that out. Okay, so this one is a statement. It's telling you that 247 times 4 is 1088. I would like you, without working it out, to tell me whether that's true or false. So is that true or false just by looking at the question and the answer without calculating it? So let's pause the video, have a look at that, see if you can figure out how you might figure out if that's right or wrong. It is definitely wrong, because we're saying that 247 times 4 is over 1,000. However, we know that 250 times 4 is 1,000, and 247 is smaller than 250, so it cannot possibly be over 1,000. The answer must be less than 1,000. If we just think about how we work that out, we've got 247, which is 3 less than 250. So if we want to make it quicker, we do 250 times 4, which we know is 1,000, and then you need to take off 4 lots of 3, because you should be timesing a number that's 3 smaller than 250 by 4 times, and 3 times 4 is 12, so you do 1,000. Take away 12, which is 988. Just if you had worked out the answer and you wanted to know what it was. So once again, your activity has been assigned to you on Teams and on Tapestry, so look at which one works best for you. I look forward to seeing what you come up with, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Thanks again, bye.